Good afternoon, Americans. This is your favorite alien on the afternoon of Saturday, February 11th, 2023, or March 11th, 2023, March 11th, 2023. Stand by for commentary. Well, today's commentary is on the SVB Bank. Wow, the failure that happened this week took 48 hours. And CNN is reporting, it's just a second big failure in U.S. history behind Washington Mutual back in 2008. As far as bank size, probably, but that's not the second biggest failure. And why the failure? And he's saying, other banks are going to be safe because they don't have the same position that SVB Bank had because it was relying on tech sector. Well, let's see. And, the FDIC has increased their level to $250,000, and that's the maximum you could get out. For a long time, it was $100,000. So, where do we go from here? Well, if money cash, when they announced that they needed to acquire capital to substantiate their balance sheet. That's really bad for a bank to do that, especially in this day and age with all kinds of computers and stuff that are hooked to the bank. And are the banking systems safe? Well, I know, because everybody suffers from that. And they say, other banks are well diversified. Really? Let's see. Your manufacturing sector is non-existent. Your service sector has been hit by COVID-19, so your medical sector has been hit by COVID-19. Your private sector, it's capitalized. You got a $31 trillion national debt. So getting bonds is going to be tough to substantiate how you guys used to capitalize your banks. Hence what happened with the schedule of the savings and loans in the late 1980s, specifically here in Florida, SunTrust. SunTrust. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, and don't forget over there in Arizona, with Mr. Keating over there. Yo-ho, Mr. Keating. And don't forget Mr. Senator McCain. Yo-ho, the Keating Five. I remember that, because I used to work at the RTC at the time. Woo! The FDIC had all kinds of fun with those. And you sold them at pennies on the dollar. If you were the Uncle Sam, oh boy, you lost a ton of money on that one. But see, savings and loans were at risk off. And back in the 1920s, you were selling on the short. I'll buy you $10,000 and I'll pay you $1,000 or maybe $100. You bought short. And then you said, okay, then I can pay this loan and I'll buy it outright. Well, buying short, and when the money was there and people took the run on the banks, there was no money to be had. And that was a problem that happened here with SVB. They heard that over there and everybody ran to the bank. Okay, I want my money. Kind of reminds me of George Bailey. I'm here for my money. And George Bailey says, how much you got? Can you take $17.50? Can you take $17.50? I want $100. Oh, but can you take $17.50 and we'll see how it is and we'll make it through the week and when the bank's open, we'll get that. Yeah. Huh? If you remember the bank collapse of 1929 and 30, whew, and that's what the FDIC came in after that, with the $100,000 promise. Now, how many, the banks over there's a lot of people that in SVB had more than the $250,000. So all they're going to get back is $250,000. Yeah, so when they say you get your money back, you don't. You just get $250,000 because that's what the United States government has sworn to give you back. So you see, Americans, because of your situation, you don't manufacture anything. You don't do anything else but consume. You don't produce anything else like you used to in the old days. And you got these stupid things that you came up with, capitalism. Well, if you don't have the backbone for capitalism, you cannot put the other stuff in play. Just like buying short and selling long back in the 1920s. Oh, it made a prosperity all through 1920, but by 1929, you had to pay the piper on that. Cost you a nice depression, didn't it? Well, the same with the banks here. You would have think that 1929, 1987, 1989 on the savings and loans, and 2008 would have got you a difference that your system doesn't work. But no, it hasn't. Now you got SVB. And you got other banks that are short capital like it was. So what are you going to do? You don't have the institutions, or I should say cornerstones or backbone to back it up. You don't have a manufacturing sector. You don't have a producing sector, i.e. farming. You don't have that anymore. You don't have consumers, because consumers aren't consuming anymore. It costs too much to consume. Yeah. So look at your car sales. Look at your other sales. Your appliance sales. All your hard items are not selling as well as they used to because you don't have the consumers for it. You have to rely on consumers of other countries. Like the Chinese market, but hey, that's going to be disappearing in a hurry. So see, Americans, you are in trouble with SVB. That is the signal at the beginning of the end. This is your favorite alien. Good day.